Hi everyone, this is Linda, and it's been a while since I've done a video, so thought I'd do a real quick one in creating a snowflake in the mySewnet software. Now, I initially had done this in my embroidery machine in my Epic, just to see if I could do it there with programming, but I thought, oh, gee, I could bring it into the software and also do it there. So what I'm going to do is actually show you how to use Motifs in the Frame tab to create a snowflake. We're going to use alignment, center and hoop, Encore, and a few other things. I did this film using my Platinum subscription, my Platinum software, but it also can be done in silver, gold, or platinum, so it doesn't matter which one you have. When I stitch it out, I actually stitched it out using a piece of Aqua Magic Plus stabilizer and 2 layers of sheer fabric that I've then framed with between 2 pieces of glass. Okay, so with our software open, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to blank canvas, and I'm going to use the 120 by 120 hoop. Just do okay. And if you notice, my grid lines are orange, and the reason I want them orange is so that when I'm creating my stitches going along this here, I can actually see them much easier, because when you use motifs, what happens is they automatically show up as blue, and it's hard to see when that line is dark. So if you need to know how to do that, all you need to do is you go up to File, and you go to Configure, pick on Appearance, and then change that grid line to orange or yellow or something so you can still see it, but that it's going to stand out enough that it's not going to blend in with the blue. So I'm going to do OK. So I am on the Frame tab, and the Frame tab changed recently with the latest update. But that's okay. If you didn't do the update, it's fine. But where I want to do is I want to go to Motif Underline, and then I do Select Motif. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick on Husqvarna Viking, category C, stitch number 11, and I want to make sure nothing is checked along in here. We're going to use that later, but right now I want nothing selected, no changes here. We're just going to do OK. And I want 5 repeats to begin with, and then I'm going to hit apply. So I'm just going to take that and move that over here. Now, one of the things, remember I told you I want to kind of keep an eye on making sure that it's kind of following this. It's not that big a deal, but we can see it better. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to just zoom in, and it's on the line, which is great. Now what I want to do is I'm going to add the next step. I'm going to make sure that nothing is selected, because otherwise what happens is it automatically groups it and puts it right below here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do Select Motif. And this time I still want Husqvarna Viking, but I want F decorative stitches, and I want number 46. And I'm going to come way down here. Look at all these options we have. 46. And I'm going to do nothing else is selected. I'm not changing the size of it. I'm going to leave it just like it is. Nothing is selected. I only want 1 repeat, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to do apply. And now granted, it put it right to the center, and it's probably really, really close. I want it right next to there. And if it's not perfect, we're going to do some alignment, but I do want it to be touching. Okay? So now the next one I want to do is I want to make sure nothing is selected again. We're going to go in, make sure Motif Underline is still selected. We're going to go to Select Motif, and this time, still a Husqvarna Viking. I'm going to go to Utility Stitches, and I'm going to just do a straight line. Again, nothing else is selected. I'm going to do OK, and this time I want 2 repeats. So I'm going to type in 2, and I'm going to do Apply. So what's going to happen is it's actually going to show up right there in the center, and I just actually want it over to the right. I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard, because what happens if you try to grab it with your mouse, you know the different things with your mouse is this is just pointing. This one, if I get really close, you see there when I can try and get so that there's 4 arrows. Those 4 arrows means that I can actually move it. But you see how difficult it is? No matter, there I got it, finally got it. Now I could actually move it. If I grab on the end, it's going to have a diagonal arrow, and that's going to let me increase or decrease how long that is. It's not going to change anything about it, but it would make it longer or shorter. Now what I want to do is I need to add my next piece in here. So making sure nothing is selected, I'm going to go, again, still Motif Underline. I'm going to do Select Motif. I'm going to go to category P, which is Specialty Stitches, and I want stitch number 8. And again, nothing else is selected. I'm going to do OK. And nothing is selected. I'm going to do one repeat and apply. And I'm going to move it off to the right. And just making sure that it's touching. And I'm going to slide this over. So as we move, we're going to get this. I now need to have one of these candle wicking stitches on the right hand side. So to do that, I'm going to make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to go to select motif. It's still in menu P, but I just need to go up to 7. Nothing else is selected. I'm going to do OK, and I'm going to do apply. Again, it puts it in the center. I'm looking for those 4 arrows before I start to move. And I'm going to line that up really close to that. Now what I want to do is I need to get my next step. But if you notice how long this is and how long this is actually just 1 stitch, where this is 2, and I need to add 1 more stitch to the edge of this. So what I want to do is I'm going to go up, I'm going to make sure motif underline is still selected. I'm going to do select motif. I'm going up to utility, and I want just a straight stitch, and I'm going to do OK. Make sure nothing is selected, and I'm going to hit apply. It's going to put it here in the center, and of course, unless I have those 4 arrows, it's really hard to move it. So I'm just going to use my arrow keys to get it over to the side, and now pause. Okay, so I'm really close to the edge, and I'm going to get it right over to the right, and I just want to make sure that it's touching. So now my length of this part and this part are really, really close, and they're going to be so small that you're really not going to tell a lot of difference. So now what I want to do is I need to get this guy again, and I want to put him on the end. So I can do this pretty quickly. I can click on here. I'm going to do a right mouse, and I'm going to do duplicate. Duplicate allows it to offset it just a little bit so I can actually see. If I do copy and paste, it puts it right on top. I just want to make sure that it's right there and touching. So I need to make sure that they're all lined up and the start points of each of those stitches are in the same spot. I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to do Select All, or you could do Control A. It's going to get you the same thing. But I'm going to go to Alignment, vertical alignment, align middle. And so now what it's done is it's actually aligned them up so that the starting stitches are all on the same spot. Okay, so now the next step is to actually group this. If you notice, I have dotted lines kind of between the orange, and orange indicates a group, but I'm going to notice that's basically a temporary group. It happened when I did the select all, but I want to make it a more of a group that's going to allow me to move everything together. I'm going to actually select group, and now my line is all solid, and you notice over here on the film strip, things have disappeared. What this is telling me is this is orange and it is a group. To reveal those so I can look at each of the individual pieces, I can select reveal groups, and now I have them as individual pieces, but this is the entire group, so it automatically grabs everything, or I can select them individually, okay? I'm going to hit reveal groups again, and it hides it all. So now the next step I need to do is I actually need to start doing the side pieces. So let's go do that. We're going to do, make sure nothing is selected so that it doesn't try and attach, and we're going to still go to the Frame tab. We're going to make sure motif underline is still selected, and then we're going to go in to select motif, and it still should be the straight stitch. Nothing else is selected, and we're just going to do OK, and I need 5 repeats of this time. So I'm going to change that number to 5, and I'm going to do apply. And now it's kind of put it in the center of the screen, and I don't want it there. I'm going to move it actually up here. So now I have this here, and I want to get one of these. And I could go look it all up again. I could do that. But I could also come here, select this one, do reveal groups, click on this guy. I'm going to right mouse button, and I'm going to say duplicate. And now I have just one of those, and I'm just going to put it right here. So I now have that, and I can use that, combine these 2 pieces to make them one. So I can come over here to the film strip. I'm going to select step number 8. I'm going to hold my control key. I'm going to select step number 9. I'm going to do a right mouse button, and I'm going to say Actually, I want to combine these two because when I go into Encore, they need to be one item. So I'm going to do combine selected, and so they become one. So now I'm going to go to the Encore tab because I need to do some things with this. And the first thing I need to do right now, this is going to stitch from the left out to here, but I want this on the outside edge of here. So what I need to do is flip it, and then I'm going to go, and I only need 2 repeat. Well, first thing I need to do is go to line. I'm going to do mirror image, and I've got a straight line. I need 2 repeats, and do preview. Now, if you notice, this is really too close. So what I can do is actually kind of get them between these two here, and I'm going to drag this out just so that they're pretty much as big as these two pieces. All right, we're going to hit apply, and then I want to rotate this. I'm going to do a right mouse button, and I'm going to do properties, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Do OK. And I'm going to move this into place. So you see how nice and close those are because I had lined them up to this. It works out pretty good. So now what I want to do is I need to do the next step, which are the 4 pieces that are going to go here. And I'm going to make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to go back to the frame tab. Make sure motif underline is still selected. I'm doing select motif, and then I'm going to go, hang on, I got to check my notes. Select motif. This time I want category A, and I still have this one selected. And this time I only want 2 repeats. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do 2 repeats. And it's going to put it right there in the center. And I just need to move it up and so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use my arrow keys again. So now I need to add to the end of this, but I have to look at the way this next stitch is going to happen. So I'm going to do select motif, and I'm going to actually go to FOF, and then I'm going to 3-3, and then it's stitch number 11. Now you can do anything you want. These were just the ones that I happened to pick on. So what's going to happen is this is actually going to start stitching here and go to here, but I actually need the stitch to start here and go here, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I do. I'm going to select reverse, and I'm going to do OK. Make sure nothing is selected and apply. Oh, you know what I did? I have 2 repeats and I don't want 2 repeats. So I'm going to do undo. And I'm going to change repeats to 1. Make sure nothing is selected. Hit apply. So now you see, if you go back here and look, so we were looking at this and it was going this way. See it? So what I want to do is I wanted it to flip the other way so that the stitching would start here and go to here. This stitches from here to here, then here to here. And I can do I'm going to do OK. And so they're a little bit misaligned. So remember what we did when we did this one. What I did is I went to Home. I'm going to use my Control key. This one's already selected. And then I'm going to select the straight line. So now what I want to do is go to Alignment. And I'm going to go to Vertical Alignment, Align Middle. So now they're lined up right with each other. Again, I need to group these before I take them to Encore. I'm going to do a right mouse. I'm going to do Combine Selected. And now what I need to do, oh, you look, there's a little gap. I don't like that. I need that to actually be attached. So I'm again do undo. And I'm going to do undo. And I'm just going to take this guy and I'm going to move him using my keyboard just a little bit. And so now, again, this one's already selected. Control, Alignment, Vertical, Align Middle, so they're lined up. Right mouse, and I'm going to do Combine Selected. So now I don't have that gap in there anymore. So I'm going to go to the Encore tab, but I need to get this so that it's going to go correctly. So the first thing I need to do is I need to do with that selected, right mouse, I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to change this to 270. So it's going to kind of flip it completely around, almost, and do OK. So now I want to do a circle. I want to just do standard. I don't need them to be mirror imaged anymore. And I actually need 4 repeats. So I'm going to do 4. And I'm going to do preview. Now, when you do the circle, what will happen is if I grab this guy, it's going to stretch it out this way, but I actually need it to do something different. So I've got, see how there's like my mouse is this cross. If I move it to the center, it actually makes it 4 arrows and allows me to actually move this. And I want this to move so that it's right there on top here. And if you notice, they are gapped just a little bit, and so that's pretty good, but maybe I want them a little bit closer, or I could even set them so they were further apart. So to do that, all I have to do is with my mouse having the cross like this, I can move them closer together, or I can move them way out, but I'm going to get them really close so that they're pretty much the same as what that other side piece is. And then I'm going to hit apply. And I need to rotate this, so I'm going to do a right mouse button. I'm going to do properties, and I only want to rotate 45 degrees. And so those are really, really close to that candle wicking stitch. So now let's zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Really cool, huh? So now what I want to do is I'm going to grab everything. I'm just going to do a Control A, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to rotate 45 twice. And then I want to take and center in the hoop. And so now I have that centered and it's ready to go. So don't forget, you want to make sure you do your save as, so that it will save it as a VP4 format, so you can take and play with these a little bit longer. And then you can do your export so that you can see, so you can stitch it out. Now, because you want to make sure that combine is selected and that color sort is selected. Now, one of the other things I want to show you about this, I'm going to pick on this one, and I'm going to do reveal groups because I want to show you something maybe you didn't know about. I want to select just one of those FOF stitches, which are right here. So I actually can come over here and actually see what that's made up of. So I'm going to go and I'm going to actually select edit, and if you notice, it's got the utility stitch, which is the first stitch, but then it's got the FOF information. So I actually know what makes that up. I'm just going to do OK. Now I could add additional notes. Let's go pick on this one up here, and this has been revealed, and I'm just going to pick on, let's pick on this candle wicking, and again there's more information. This is all here. Now, when you go to print this, you could actually get all that information. I normally don't print that kind of data, but if you're wondering what makes something up, that's one of the ways to do that. And I'm just going to close my reveal groups. So it's good information to have if you ever question what it is that you used. It works the same way on fonts. So if you can't remember what font you used, it's going to save that information over here in notes and settings. So just thought I'd share that as an additional piece. Now, when I went to go and stitch this out, I actually stitched this on organza, as you see in the picture. And then what I did is use 2 layers of organza or an organza-like fabric, very sheer, a piece of Aqua Magic Plus, which is kind of a sticky stabilizer, and then actually stitch that out and framed it. So it's something you can do. You could put this any place, but maybe you want this longer. Maybe you want to do some additional things with this. So think about it, and I hope you share some pictures.